My name is Nick Holt, and this is my story. So over the last year and a half, I've lost 200 pounds. Before I get into that, let's go back to the beginning. You see, I grew up in a small town in Georgia with two amazing parents and a wonderful, amazing older brother. My dad was a pastor all my life, and my mom was a school teacher. And so our dynamic was awesome. Dad was serious, mom was funny. They were the yin and yang. They complemented each other perfectly. And so we had so many amazing times together, singing, doing crafts at home, mom teaching us memory verses in fun school teaching ways, dad teaching us the Bible, how to pray, how to be men. Had such a wonderful childhood growing up with both parents and my older brother. I didn't start gaining weight until I was about 10 years old. But for my brother Brandon, he was overweight even as a child. So when I turned 18, I moved back to South Georgia to serve on staff at a church as the children's pastor. My older brother Brandon was already living there, and he worked at a church as the worship pastor. And so for a year, we got to live together, and man, did we have some crazy times. Our life was truly about ministry, but also about where can we go to get good food. We thought food all the time, good foods, buffets, chicken, and we loved pizza. I remember a specific time that we would watch The Biggest Loser on television while eating pizza, breadsticks, and soda, laughing at the people working out, saying, "Oh, we won't ever do something like that." Little did I know that years later, I would absolutely become one of the very people I was laughing at. About 4 or 5 years go by, and I was living around Memphis, Tennessee, and Brandon was down in Jacksonville, Florida. And I ended up moving back to Jacksonville to live with Brandon yet again for the second time as adults. And during this time, though, some things had changed with both of us. We were a little bit older than the first time we lived together, and so we were starting to see how our activity level and the choices we were making on what we were eating, it was starting to catch up with us. For instance, I remember the very first time I stood on the scale during this time and I saw the number 4 show up on my weight. I remember how much it hit me, and it really did plant the seed for what was coming much later in my life. So even though I saw that number on the scale, it wasn't quite enough for me to make the full commitment to change. But for my older brother Brandon, it was. He started diet after diet, trend after trend, diet pills, the drinks, he tried it all. And for the next couple of years, he was desperate to try to lose weight. But after he'd try something and it wouldn't work, it would make him more and more discouraged, and he would just gain more weight. So Brandon always told me that if I put my mind to something, I succeed. That I'm stubborn, I have iron will, I'm hard-headed, all of these things, but that if I really put my mind and focus on something, that I can get it done. He would say that if you ever became the person who would lose weight to focus on weight loss and getting healthy, you would be that person. You would go all in. At the time, I didn't think about it a whole lot, but now I understand. I think back and I say, he was right. So Brandon met the love of his life, Alyssa Powers, and they got married. And he not only became a husband, but he became the father of Kinsley and Rory at the same time. And for 5 years of marriage, he was probably the happiest he'd ever been. Being a husband and a dad, he was so happy. Still struggled with his weight, and he remembered during that 5 years of marriage about the weight loss surgery that he had discovered years before. He had friends that had went to Tijuana and they had the surgery done, and that had told him it was amazing, that they treat you like kings over there, and it's cheaper in Tijuana than in America, and that he needs to do it. And so Brandon thought about it, he prayed about it, and he felt like this was the way. He had tried all the diets, he tried all the programs, he'd been overweight his whole life, He wanted to be healthy. He told me and mom and dad that he wanted to do this because he wanted to be a better husband. He wanted to be a better father. He wanted to go biking and hiking, fishing, camping. He wanted to take the girls out and be active. He had such a heart and passion to do those things with his family. And he told us he was signing up for the surgery, and that this time next year, he was going to be a completely different person. So Brandon enrolled in the weight loss surgery, and he was so excited. He did his lab work, he got his money together, and I remember one of my last phone calls with him, he just told me how excited he was to do all these things with his girls and with his wife and to just be active. He was so happy, almost years of relief because he had tried everything to lose weight and nothing ever worked for him. And so him and his wife, Alyssa, they traveled all over and was such a powerful couple together, singing and doing ministry. And so the last place they went together was Tulsa, Oklahoma. When Brandon got to Tulsa, he wasn't feeling well. He didn't know what was going on, but he just didn't feel himself. So a couple of days went by and he led worship on a Sunday morning, and that evening he started getting fever and chills and got to the hospital the next day. I remember I was in Georgia at the time, and I heard the news from Alyssa that he was in the hospital and he wasn't doing good, and we didn't know what was wrong. And I remember with my best friend booking a plane ticket from Jacksonville to get there as soon as possible. And I do not fly or like to fly, but I got on the very next plane. I believe it was the Lord that helped me to get there. I got there the next morning about 9 a.m. local time, and when I got in the room, he was gone to a scan, but when they wheeled him back in, he was so out of it, he didn't even know I was there. And so I got to see him in that state, and it's a state that I'll never forget. It turns out that he got an infection in his blood, and it hit his kidneys, hit his lungs, and it ultimately hit his heart. And there was nothing that they could do, and he passed away. And I remember seeing him there, laying in the hospital bed. I see the numbers of his room now, still have the wristbands to this day. And I held his hand with tears in my eyes. That's when I made the promise that would change my life for the rest of my life. I promised him in that moment, I said, I knew you wanted to do this. I know what your heart was. I promise you that I will do it for the both of us. That your dream of living healthy, of being active, I will do for the both of us. That your dream can live through me, and I will carry it on. And in that moment, I made a promise that I would never forget, that would change everything about my life. So after about a year of grieving and mourning, just going through natural healing, I got to June 18th of 2024, and that's when I remembered my promise, and I said, today's the day, and I started my health journey.
I've been running from my past, now I'm running to the way, trying to build a better me.
Before this journey ever began, I was living in a prison that nobody could see from the outside. A prison inside my own mind and inside my own body. For years, I had to shop at special big and tall stores just to find clothes that fit me. I could not just walk into a normal store with friends and buy something off the rack. I could not just go on a simple shopping trip. I had to order everything online and hope it fit. When family or friends wanted to go places that required walking, I would often make excuses and say I couldn't go. It wasn't because I did not want to be with them, it was because I knew my body couldn't handle all of the walking. When people wanted to go out and eat, I could never sit in a booth, and if the restaurant had chairs that had arms, I would have to ask for a different seat because I knew I couldn't fit. Everything I did was built around physical limitations. Every decision was filtered through the fear and embarrassment of my weight. That is what it feels like to live in a prison inside your own body. And that prison is real. So when I tell you this journey saved my life, I mean it. On June 18th, 2024, I stepped on a treadmill and walked my very first mile. It took me 36 minutes. My first 5K just a few months later, it was under an hour. During this time, I could barely breathe. I could barely move, but I refused to quit because I made a promise. Fast forward 16 months, I lost 200 pounds. The 1 mile came down to 10 minutes. The 5K, 31 minutes and 17 seconds. I train 6 days a week. I do boxing, jiu-jitsu, pickleball, and CrossFit. Pickleball has become one of my greatest joys. It is such a fun way to burn fat without feeling like you're exercising. I could feel my stamina building every single week. What used to leave me gasping for air became something I could play for hours. I fell in love with it because for the first time in my life, I could move freely, compete, and feel alive. CrossFit became another turning point. My first day of doing it, I could barely do the workout. I felt lost. I felt behind. I did not think I belonged there. But the people in the gym welcomed me like family. They cheered for me. They encouraged me. And little by little, I started growing. Now I'm doing CrossFit workouts sometimes 1 or 2 times a day. I'm keeping up with people who have been doing this for years. I love the community. I love the challenge. I love the feeling of becoming stronger every week. My stamina is on a whole new level, and I'm loving it.
Hey, my name is Hagan Anderson, and I've known Nick Holt for about 32 years now. We've been best friends, and some of the fondest memories that I have with him is in South Georgia at youth camp. We had some of the best times there, and just knowing the kind of person that he is, when he told me that he was starting this journey for real this time, I just knew the kind of person that he is, that he was very serious about it, and he was going to follow through with it. And just seeing him on this whole journey has been amazing, and the transformation that's taken place in his life, and I'm super proud of him.
Hey, my name's Gabby Beasley. I've been part of BFit for almost a year now. I've known Nick for pretty much all of my life. I've known Brandon. I've known his mom. His mom was my third grade teacher in elementary school. I was more friends with Brandon, more or less, because I knew him more from youth camp. But over the last year or so, me and Nick has gotten closer since Brandon's passing, and he has taken me under his wing and coached me on this journey. And I'm so thankful for it. He's got me on a workout routine that I work out every day. I go to the treadmill, I go to the bike, I do a push, pull, a whole thing. I've lost 113 pounds. I'm so thankful for this journey that he has me on. I encourage you to sign up for BFit. I've lost 113 pounds, feel better, moving more, playing pickleball, doing all these things, and feeling good about my life, and so I can live longer for my family, live longer for my son, and do all the things that make them happy, make me happy, and being able to do it unhindered. And so I highly encourage you to contact BFit, contact Nick. It will change your life, help somebody, help yourself. And don't worry about, like I said, don't worry about all the finances stuff. All that stuff will come, but I do encourage you, make your life better, invest in yourself. Lord bless you.
In January 2025, during a week of prayer, I felt like I was supposed to help people who felt lost just like me and my brother did. People who felt trapped the same way that I felt trapped. People who do not go places because they believe their body will fail them. People who pretend to be fine but feel hopeless inside. Right there in that moment, the name BFit came to my mind. B for Brandon, and fit for the life we never got to live together. And I knew this was my calling. So I enrolled in school. I studied every day. And in January 2026, I will be a certified personal trainer with a focus on weight loss transformation, not bodybuilding or cosmetic fitness, but transformation, helping real people take back their life. Everything in my life has been building to this moment: the promise, the pain, the grind, the breakthrough. BFit is launching in January 2026. So here's what the program looks like. 6 months of one-on-one personal training with me. You get a weekly phone call, a weekly group Zoom call with all other clients, weekly meal plans, weekly workout plans, creative challenges, accountability, everything you need to change your life, all for $1,000 for 6 months. Inside your 6-month commitment, you can also choose to add the BFit Reboot Week. This is optional. For an additional $500, you can travel to me for 1 full week of in-person classes, workouts, which you'll get guest trainers, coaching, and hands-on learning. This is a total reset for your body and your mind. It's something I promise you will never forget. But for anyone who says, Nick, I need even more accountability and something more exclusive, I'm offering for you a premium version. Still 6 months, but this one is $2,000. You get everything that the first package does, but you get an additional 2 personal calls from me each week. And your meal plan and your workout plan will be tailored just for you. Your BFit Reboot Week is included at no extra cost. But here's the thing. I know some people might struggle with the money or say, I don't have that much. Don't be discouraged by the cost. If my brother were alive today and he saw a program like this from someone he knew and trusted and someone who had a 100% proven results, Brandon would have gone straight to Facebook and asked family and friends to sponsor him because he knew he needed help. And I believe with all my heart that before his head hit the pillow that night, he would have raised every single dollar he needed because people love to give to a cause that saves lives. This program is not a product. It's a lifeline. It is hope. It is a chance to rewrite your story. People look to quotes for motivation all the time. The Rock says it's either one day or day one. Another famous quote is to go one more. Even when it seems like your body is done, keep pushing and go one more. I've seen one at a gym that says, when you think about quitting, think about starting first. But here's my quote. This is the one that I live by now. If it is easy, it will not change you. If it is hard, it will be worth it. All good things take commitment and work. So let's get it. This is BFit, and this is just the beginning. I could not help my brother. Let me help yours.